could this comment, Diane Abbott makes you want to hate all black women, have nothing to do with the colour of her skin?
John, Mr. Hester is the one who said the words. He's apologised in respect to that. I am not in a position to add in anything extra in respect of that. Those are not words I would have used. I know Diane very well, and as I say, I've got nothing but praise for Diane as a trailblazing politician and a much valued colleague of mine in terms of the work that we're doing together.
Well, they're reporting that your party's biggest ever donor, Frank Hester, who it is said, it's reported, gave the party £10 million over the last year. He reportedly said that Diane Abbott, the very well-known MP Diane Abbott, and I'm quoting, makes you want to hate all black women, and then adding, she should be shot. What on earth do you say about that?
Well, as far as I understand, John, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that Mr. Hester has apologised in respect of that. He has said in that apology that he was not making a reference in regard to race, colour of skin, or gender. And that's really what I can say in respect of that. I'm sure, as he's expressed, I'm sure Mr. Hester is extremely apologetic for what he said. I know Diane very well. I'm on the Home Affairs Select Committee with her. I like Diane a lot. She's a great politician. She's been a trailblazer in this country over 30 to 40 years, and she's a much valued colleague of mine on the Home Affairs Select Committee.
I mean, you'll understand that I need to just persist with this a moment longer. There's a statement from your party, of which you are deputy chair, and it says, Mr. Hester has made clear that while he was rude, his criticism had nothing to do with her gender nor the colour of her skin. Now, just to help me with this, James, I mean, do you want to change what you're saying, or do you want to change what your party's saying? How on earth could this comment, Diane Abbott makes you want to hate all black women, have nothing to do with the colour of her skin?
John, Mr. Hester is the one who said the words. He's apologised in respect to that. I am not in a position to add in anything extra in respect of that. Those are not words I would have used. I know Diane very well, and as I say, I've got nothing but praise for Diane as a trailblazing politician and a much valued colleague of mine in terms of the work that we're doing together.
Well, you're complimentary about Diane Abbott, and we hear that. But are those comments as you'll know, to many, many people will be grossly offensive. Do you not find them grossly offensive, or do you understand people being offended by that?
John, people will have different views, and I fully appreciate that.
But you're not criticising them. Forgive me, James. You're not criticising this person who you say has apologised for what is, well, to many people's ears and eyes, an appalling comment. Look, I need to put to you now, James, is this because he happens to be your party's biggest donor?
John, in terms of the words that were used by Mr. Hester, he's the one that used them. I do not know, John. I please apologise. I don't know I don't know when this was said.
Well, whenever they were said, surely makes little difference.
What I'm trying to say to you, John, is that Mr. Hester has given an explanation as to what he said. I wasn't there when Mr. Hester said this. All I can say is that I'm very pleased that Mr. Hester has unreservedly apologised to Diane for using these words.
Were they extremist? I mean, you're reviewing the meaning of extremism. Were these words extremist?
John, I'm not going to go into that. All I'm going to say is I am very. Mr. Hester was extremely was correct to apologise unreservedly for Diane for using that type of language.
Yeah, and he'll continue to be an important donor to your party, despite what many people would see as, well, plainly racist remarks.
That is a matter for the party and for Mr. Hester. We're talking about some specific remarks, and I'm very pleased that he's apologised.
All right, I will move on. Clearly, you are going no further with this. Let me ask you then, James, about Lee Anderson. I mean, that's a blow. I wonder how serious a blow in your view.
Well, it's a blow to me personally, John. If you don't mind me saying, I've known Lee for many years. I would certainly consider him a friend. We've been talking right up until next week. I mean, we didn't speak over the weekend, but Lee, I think the last conversation we had was about me playing in his charity cricket team in the summer. So we've stood on the same manifesto. We've stood on the same platform. We've been part of the same groups in Parliament. I consider him a friend, and I hope he still considers me a friend. So it is something. It's a very sad day for me that we've lost Lee.
Okay, you described the Anderson then as a friend. Is it the act of a friend to defect to another party mid-Parliament in a way which, according to one leading respected pollster, could cost your party dozens of seats at the next election. Is that the act of a friend? Because some might argue that that's a betrayal.
John, what I'm a bit mystified by, I had the, I was going to say the pleasure. I was on with Richard Tice on one of your competitor programs.
Yeah.
And Richard Tice was asked about the words that Lee used, which led to him being suspended from the Conservative Party, and appeared to agree with the position that the Conservative Party had taken in respect of that.
Yeah.
And in terms of the things that you've just played out what Lee says he stands for, well, I'm not really sure what difference that is to what the Conservative Party stands for, and many of his friends and former colleagues who have stood shoulder to shoulder with him campaigning on these issues. So I'm a bit mystified as to why Lee felt that at this stage going to reform was something that he felt that he had to do.
Well, look, in your view, was Lee Anderson's defection to reform in any way understandable? In any way, well, something you can appreciate?
Well, Lee, I agree with what Lee said previously. Lee has said that a vote for reform is a vote for Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
I thought, John, what Stig Abel said was very, very, very interesting, and this is the heart of what reform are about. And people can vote for reform on this basis if their sole, sort of policy manifesto is to obliterate the Conservative Party. They are determined, come what may, to put the Labour Party in power for the next 5 years. I am very surprised. And that's Ben Habib, Richard Tice. They've said this quite clearly. With what Lee has spoken to me over 4 years about and what he believes in, I'm extremely surprised that he wants to stand for a party whose sole aim is to put Labour in power for 4 to 5 years. And up until very recently, very, very recently, Lee shared the same view as me, that that the Conservative Party and this Prime Minister is the best vehicle for delivering upon the hopes and fears of his constituents in Ashfield.
Well, he clearly, James, doesn't think that now. And the message is, well, your party and your leader, your Prime Minister, is, well, maybe irreparably out of touch with people who voted Conservative in 2019 and now no longer need to do that. So, look, just coming at it from your own point of view, you're a member of the New Conservatives. Has the Prime Minister got the pitch and the tone and the content of the message wrong?
I think the Prime Minister, in terms of job creation, a strong immigration policy, in terms of creating opportunities for everyone, no matter their background, their circumstance, halving inflation, and all the other job creating measures he's brought in. Yeah. That's why I became a Conservative. Yeah. That's what I believe in. I'm a member of the New Conservatives. And for me, not only is Rishi Sunak a good man, I know him personally, he's somebody who is determined to implement a Conservative manifesto.
So if the Prime Minister has got the right, so if the PM has got the message and the tone right, why are you losing so many supporters to reform, James?
John, can I just ask you, when you say we're losing so many supporters to reform, are you basing that just on the national opinion polls?
The only evidence I have is national opinion polls, which suggests that something like half of reform support comes from your party. A good many come from Labour too.
Why I'm a bit mystified by that, John, is that I'm the MP in Bury North. In neighbouring Rochdale, we had a recent by-election where if there were conditions for reform to succeed, then the Rochdale by-election, in terms of their manifesto, their platform, would have given them the obvious opportunity to challenge for that seat. But where did they come, John?
So do you believe they're a bubble that will burst? Is that what you're saying to me, James? Do you think this bubble will burst?
I'm saying that when you look at their actual results, when you look at how they are competing when people actually go to the ballot box, I don't think that's in line with national polling. And as I say, I don't think they have any intent of wanting any MPs. What they solely want, or appear to solely want, is a Labour government. Because that, I think, what Richard Tice appears to be saying is that leaves it open for his organisation in 5 years' time, for what's left of the country, to claim the right-wing vote. I think that's what they want.
Okay, I have to leave it there. Time has run out on us, but thank you. Appreciate you coming on. James Daly, Deputy Chairman of the Conservative Party there.